Last night, a couple of surprises, but really this is kind of the let's reintroduce or maybe introduce you to some of the players who might be playing some minutes in the NBA next season. I'm going to throw out a couple of names, and then you tell me if you can guess where I'm going and maybe even recognize them. If I said Bub Carrington, or I said Jalen Wells, Yves Missy, where are we going? I'm talking about NBA players who were rookies last year. Bub Carrington played the most minutes of any rookie last year. He was drafted 14th by the Wizards. Jalen Wells, second most minutes. He was drafted 39th by the Grizzlies. Yves Missy, who played for the Pelicans, drafted 21st. He was fourth on the list. Stephon Castle, third on the list. He was drafted fourth overall by the Spurs. So what am I getting at? You can be drafted high. You can be drafted in the lottery. That doesn't mean you're going to have those kind of minutes. I think we feel like, the old days when you're drafted in the first 10 picks, 15 picks, you're playing right away. Reed Sheppard did not play for the Rockets last year. Now, he played 500 minutes, but he was a G League player. He was the third pick overall. You're drafting players, and it's almost like you're drafting them. They're going to be on your roster, but it's not like, it's sort of like baseball where they draft and then you disappear for a couple of years, and then you come back, you go to the minor leagues. These players are kind of there, or maybe in the G League, and then they might contribute. Now, do I think Dylan Harper is going to play significant minutes for the Spurs? Yes. Is Cooper Flagg going to play significant minutes for the Dallas Mavericks? I do. Ace Bailey in Utah. VJ Edgecombe. I don't know how much he's going to play for the 76ers. They already have their guards there. So you're trying to figure this out of, okay, you drafted a guy. What's that mean for our team right away? How many of these guys will have a true impact? And you're going to have some projects here. And you might have a guy who plays for a team who then gets traded and then becomes something in 2 or 3 or 4 years. Because you're drafting 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds. In college baseball, they're at least 22, 23, so it's different. But it'd be like taking an 18-year-old high school phenom in baseball. He's not going to the majors. He's going to the minors. Well, you're going to get guys who are going to play sparingly with a lot of these first-round picks, if they even make the team. If I said Toumani Camara, he led in minutes the previous year for the Portland Trailblazers. Keontae George, he had the second most minutes in the previous draft. He was 16th overall. So there's no sure things. I mean, do I expect Ace Bailey to be a good player? I guess. But the situation you're in really dictates how quickly you become successful. If you go to a bad roster, a bad organization, it's already an uphill battle. You're going in, you're going to be a rookie, you're just trying to survive. Now you're on a team with a bunch of knuckleheads. And you got to, the history, it's systemic of how bad you are. And there's a reason why those organizations stay bad. They're not relevant. Danny Ainge didn't care that Ace Bailey didn't want to go to Utah. Danny Ainge said, all right, we'll take you. You don't want to go to Philly or Charlotte? He didn't want to go to Utah. He wanted to go to Brooklyn, and he wanted to go to Washington because he wants to be a star right away. I want my shots. I want to play right away. If I go to Charlotte, LaMelo Ball is going to be dominating. He's ball dominant there. Doesn't want to go to the Sixers. Okay. They're kind of a mess. Didn't want to go to Utah. And Danny Ainge said, that's all right, but we're still going to take you. And got a lot of talent, but I don't know if this strategy worked, that he didn't want to work out for certain teams. Didn't want to go to Charlotte, didn't want to go to the 76ers. He's too talented to have dropped too far, and I think he was hoping that he was going to drop maybe a couple more picks, at least one more pick. He wanted to go to the Pelicans. So the strategy didn't work. You ended up in Utah. But Dallas did well, obviously, getting Cooper Flagg, who can now ease into minutes. If you played for another organization, you're like, all right, we're coming out to see Cooper Flagg. Well, you're going to go out and see the Mavericks with Cooper Flagg. There's a big difference, and we're going to go see Cooper Flagg and the Nets. And I think the expectation level will be very beneficial. Carmelo Anthony, former number 1 overall pick, now an analyst for NBC with their NBA coverage, had this to say about Cooper Flagg.
To me, he doesn't do anything great. He just do a lot of very good. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He offensive rebound, very good. Mm-hmm. He in the passing lanes, very good. He's a weak side defender, very good. On-ball defender, he got a lot better. I want to see him against you. I want to see him against KD. I want to see him against Luka. I want to see him against Ant Edwards because you coming in as that guy. If he got to develop the right way, he got to get a skill set. Mm-hmm. You can't be in the pros and don't have a skill set. So you have to have a skill set. Like your skill set have to be something. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A one dribble pull up, like something. Floater, like you have to have something that's your go-to. Right now, he don't have a go-to.
That's Carmelo on Podcast P with Paul George discussing Cooper Flagg. You know, I disagree with them of, what's his bag. You can be a really good all-around player. There's value in that. They're looking at this from an offensive perspective. So it's a myopic view of he's got to have a signature move. Well, he's 18. And I think his signature move is he doesn't have a signature move. He's got a variety of things. He's not going to be one-dimensional. And look, Carmelo was incredible. But he didn't really have much of a move. It was just that jab step, but he was going to nail it. He was going to kill you mid-range. But Carmelo was not the all-around player that Cooper Flagg is. So there's a difference in that. It's the value in that. But Cooper Flagg has an opportunity to learn. He can learn from Kyrie. He can learn from AD. He can learn from Jason Kidd, if Jason Kidd still wants to be the coach. Feels like that didn't go away yet. There was a report yesterday that either the Knicks and Jason Kidd are still holding out hope. But Nico Harrison, by the way, you can't write a script for Nico Harrison where you go, hey, listen to this pitch, Hollywood. This guy, he's going to trade a franchise player, death threats. He can't even go to games, or they boo him, and the team had all kinds of injuries. You kind of limped literally into the playoffs, and then all of a sudden, long odds, you win the lottery, and then you get Cooper Flagg. That's what happened. So I guess the Mavericks had a good year, would you say? All the backlash. You had all the injuries. Kyrie's going to be out for half the year probably. You get AD, and you got bailed out. The ultimate bailout, probably in NBA history, where it's like, oh, my God, what did we do? No, we'd still do it again. He didn't play any defense. And then you end up with Cooper Flagg. But watching last night, it's fun to see some of these names that you saw kind of 6 months. There were 18 freshmen drafted. This really was an introduction to rookie class 101 last night. And this VJ Edgecombe, I watched him. I really liked him at Baylor. I don't know what he's going to do in the NBA. I don't know what any of the, Con Knipple. I don't know. I mean, at Duke, all right, you can look like a top 5 pick, I guess, at Duke. He's a really good shooter, but he is a, standstill shooter. I don't know how much he's creating. You're going to play in Charlotte, which, good luck. Good Charlotte. He got some minutes probably, I'm going to guess. So, I don't, you're trying to figure any of this stuff out. Good luck, because you're dealing mostly with freshmen. Dylan Harper, not a great shooter, but he can handle the ball. Well, San Antonio's got the rookie of the year, Stephon Castle and De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to guess somebody is probably headed out of town. Could San Antonio, who missed out on, and I don't have any information on this is just me watching the TV last night, in between getting yelled at by Stephen A. Smith, Not directly. It just felt like it was like, I got to turn down. Can you have a volume when Stephen A is on that I could just turn it down just a little bit? And then it's kind of an auto adjust there. It's Stephen A. Smith. Don't they have the SAP or whatever that is? Just this will be the SAS.
SAS.
Yeah, the SAS, where it's like, because he started yelling. And I'm like, who is he? Why are we yelling? And I think at one point somebody said, Bob Myers might have said, hey, this is supposed to be a good night, a positive night. I am positive. I'm like, slow down. Just slow down. It's okay. I don't know who came up with that idea of the louder you yell, the more often you're going to win your argument.
Kasparis Jakachunas.
Can't play. I don't even know where I was before I get side.
A lot of 18-year-olds drafted.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Is the worst thing you could be in basketball a graduating senior, 4-year senior?
Well, okay. Danny Wolf played at Yale and then went to Michigan. Now, Marvin loved Danny Wolf.
Love his game. Big fan.
But I don't know if he was a senior.
He was a junior at Michigan.
Okay. I don't know if there was a senior taken last night. I'm gonna guess no. That's the worst thing to be, is a U.S. born senior going into the draft. If you're senior year, it's like, hey, maybe second round, late second round. Yes, Paulie.
The only thing worse would be a 5th-year senior, the Armando Bacot syndrome, as we like to call it here. Played 5 years at North Carolina, just played great basketball, and couldn't get in.
I misspoke with Melo. Melo's 3rd overall pick, not number 1 pick.
Reminding Detroit fans about that.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
You should have left that out.
Yes. All right, so play of the day is coming up. Now, thank you for setting me straight on that with Carmelo. All right, so stat of the day brought to you by Panini America, the official trading cards of the Dan Patrick Show. Brooklyn Nets had 5 first-round picks. Speaking of Danny Wolf, I don't know if he was happy to go there or maybe got happier that his name was called, but he was just kind of sitting there. And then all of a sudden they called his name. But Brooklyn Nets, they drafted 4 guards, 3 point guards, and they drafted Danny Wolf, who was a point center.
He was crying wolf.
Oh, wow.
I got to go.
Dang.
That's fun.